Hello, everyone. And what's even better than Angela, Deb, and Gerald? It's Angela, Deb, Gerald, and Hershe. Woohoo! There we are. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Hello, Hershe. Welcome back.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, thank you.
And Deb, how are you?
I'm here.
I'm glad. And hot and sweaty and... I'm sorry, that was really personal.
Not too bad today because we're sitting in front of the vent, the air conditioning vent.
And Angela, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm here.
All right.
We've had an interesting couple of days. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
We'll hear about it afterwards, everybody.
We may.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're gonna miss it. This is so, but I'm actually doing very well. I went to I call it a well baby visit with my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to do a blood draw. And last time I had a blood draw, oh, by the way, I'll move this on. Last time I had a blood draw, I've been getting my blood drawn regularly for years and years since being a diabetic, like monthly. And and last time I had a blood draw, my vein rolled. And that had never happened before. And so it took him 3 sticks and 2 different people. And I told the guy today, I said, my routine, and by the way, we will talk about routine because it is important when connecting with Deity and Spirit Guides. It's like my routine is I need you to count to 3 and then tell me when you're sick and then remind me to breathe. That's just how I work. And he's like, okay. And I said, oh, I rolled. And the guy's like, okay. It was like no big deal to him. And let me tell you, dude, like he goes, all right, 1, 2, 3. And it was like, and I'm like, did you get it? He's like, yeah. Like, of course I did. Duh. and I'm like going, how long have you been doing this? He's like, 20 years. And I'm like, going, okay. And are you teaching? He's like, nope, I stay in my lane. And I went, okay. And so I made the guy laugh. It was funny because they call a number and he opened the door and I saw him do this twice. He opens the door. It like mentally probably counts to like 7 and everybody's looking at him and he just has to say the number that he's pulling up. It was like freaking awesome. And I told him that. I said, I noticed how you're doing. You got everybody's attention. And he laughed. He shook my hand. That was nice. By the way, links are all below. And we know that the best chatters will always like and subscribe because it's free. And Hershe, how many subscribers do you think we can get you today?
Get me today? Oh wow. If I get 1, then I have succeeded.
Okay, there you go. Okay, Thomas Terror Your Way is here. Medium Betsy Palmer is here. Delaying a swim. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. Kristen is here. Nice to have you here.
Hello.
Andrea. Catching you live for a bit. Yes. Nalani Hypnicity.
Hello, 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 hello.
Heroine is here. Yes. And Plucky knows that, the best chatters are already here.
Yes.
Nancy, A Crone's Intuition is here. Nancy and Jane are going to be with me on Monday, reading at 10 o'clock in the AM. That's Eastern. I can never say this name. Shalani, the Leo. Chaylee, the Leo. Good to see you. Rishi is here. Hi, Rishi.
Hello, hello.
And Coyote is here. Coyote Budman. So,
Hello.
Rishi, we are not doing readings today. We're talking about how to connect with Deity and Spirit Guides. So, and oh, Jacob Bush is here. Hi, Jacob. Good to see you. Rossi is here.
Hello,
Suki,
hello. Hello,
love this.
hello.
And just getting caught up. And okay, whose Meemaw is sending me the scent of Downy to get my attention? So, yeah, it's what he does. It was good. So, and Jeffrey and I were practicing this. It's Meruta.
Rota.
So good to see you. I'm sorry. Is it Shelley? Oh, it may be Shelley. That's true. Good call. And Milani said, I want a reading from Hershe, and it was fabulous. She has great insights.
Mm-hmm.
So they should basically just like and subscribe to your channel so that it can happen.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Hershe still is not okay with me singing their praises.
Mm-hmm.
It is a new concept that I am learning to get used to.
Yes. Oh,
If you're going to be on camera with Gerald, you have to get used to it.
Yes.
And it'll come down the road somewhere, but it's gonna come.
so basically what I hear you saying is that you are willing to come back and do more stuff with me. So I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy was saying she purchased responsibly and knew her limits. Her Hay House Hall mail came today.
Ooh.
And,
Hey.
yes, Hay House has a 50% off sale. So
Nice.
oh, well, look at this.
Jamie.
Jamie Mountain Bardic Path is here, and the best chatters. Jamie, Betsy, Angela, and Deb will be on my channel for Tuesday for Tarot the Stashway. We're talking color, and it's part 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all right, and oh, Maruta got theirs today. Ooh. So there you go. So somebody else say something while I take a sip.
I'll join you.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm just,
What are you drinking, Hershe?
iced coffee.
Me too. Me too. Me too. And
I have hot coffee.
mm-hmm.
And I have Red Bull.
Yes. I know one of these things is not like the other.
Oh,
Get ready. Oh my gosh.
really? You're on a mission for wings.
Even demons have wings.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
Jonathan Daly is lurking whilst driving.
Please be safe,
Yes.
Jonathan.
Oh my God, that's Gerald's favorite word. I know.
So, speaking of favorite words, yeah, Sesame Street. It's true.
It is.
It's true. So, okay. So, should I give a word today?
Sure.
Of course.
Here you go. I hope I haven't used it. Today's video is brought to you by the word fascinating. Everyone say it with me. Fascinating. Fascinating. Extremely interesting or charming. Captivating. If you were fascinated by something in this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channels. Fascinating. Fascinating.
I get the feeling you're using your library voice in that particular description.
Fascinating. See, and people are doing it. So, oh, and Betsy says, I think I will make an espresso whilst listening to chat. And Thomas reminds us that Angela bounces in 5, 4, 3. Yes, I agree. The subject of the day is fascinating. And so today we are talking about connecting with deity and spirit guides. So we're going to have a conversation. We invite you to join us. Key thing to remember is the way you do it is the way you should do it. You know, if it's not working, then try to keep doing it or do something else. But it is so very important that you just show up.
Yes.
You keep working it. So we got some love for Hershe there.
Yes.
And hello. Plucky Heroine is here. So it is always fascinating. So so let me ask you this. As we're talking about connecting with deity and spirit guides, what are your initial thoughts about that for people who are watching?
Initial thoughts. Growing up, talking to ghosts, I literally thought that was it. You know, I didn't know that, you know, all of this other stuff was here. So when I started learning, understanding, seeing, hearing, it was scary. Like, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't understand. I didn't want it. Like, I just wanted to talk to the ghosts, you know.
Sure.
They were easy. They were soft. They were semi-friendly, you know. I don't know. I was scared at first, but I mean, it wasn't completely out of my realm because, you know, I've talked to ghosts since I was like 3 or 4 years old. So,
okay. So let me ask a clarifying question. Was it scary because you'd never experienced it before and it was new and it was different? Or were you frightened?
no, I was completely terrified. It was exact opposite of everything I'd ever heard, everything I'd ever dreamed, everything I'd ever fantasized about, like anything I'd ever heard my whole life. It was always this monopoly of a one thing, you know, and it wasn't. So
very different for you.
It was horrifying. Not so much now, but I've got years into it. So
let me ask you this then. What was it that helped you get through that during the time?
Metatron, Azazel, and Miles.
Okay. And for those of you who do not know, who are those?
Metatron is the archangel I work with. Azazel I work with in a underworld, ghost, limbo kind of recession kind of way, because it's always gloomy over there. And then Miles is just always with me. He's a 5th dimension angel that never leaves my side.
Okay. Great. Thank you for that. And I appreciate the honesty, because a lot of times we hear about connecting with deity and spirit guides as the heavens open up and you know, all of that stuff. So,
oh yeah, the pearly gate, the stairway, all I heard every rendering of these beautiful things, and for me, completely 100% for me, it was nothing like that. Everything was dead. Everything was gone. There was no life. There was nothing. I mean, buildings and all of that, yeah, it was there. It was present, but like, the things that I found out that I'm not allowed to talk about, that other people aren't mindfully ready for, is like, you need to start prepping them now, because like you're literally going to send a mass amount of people over the edge, like literally. But this was my interpretation, so I'm assuming that it could be different for each and every person, but this was how I felt at the moment going through it. It was very raw. It was completely not what I was expecting, and it was something I had to learn to live with for the rest of my life.
Yes. Before I ask Angela or Deb to speak, I don't know if I said hello to Tarot Ask Backwards, and Tortoiseshell Moon Kathy is here, and I want to appreciate all of you are here. So yes, Betsy, I was thinking Constantine as well.
Yep. Demonologist, I mean, yes, definitely. Yeah. I was definitely on that route. So, you know, what's his name? Yeah, him. Yeah. Okay, I can't think of his name right now. Well, I can think of it, I just can't say it. But he's a famous artist. Dante's Inferno. Dante. That go all the way there and then more. Just keep going. Don't stop. Keep going.
William Blake.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
William Blake.
Yeah, but think like Dante's Inferno kind of thing going on. Like,
yeah,
mine experience was more like that kind of thing. Constantine meets Dante's Inferno.
Okay. Yeah. Deb, Angela, what about for you? Just general thoughts about this, and then I want to dive into some more stuff and catch up on chat.
Okay. When I first started working with my guides, I was really young, and it was mainly in situations that were dangerous or confusing. I would hear a few words in my head like, go that way. And I'd go that way. And it would totally change the situation.
Oh, okay.
And it got to where I could really trust it.
Okay.
And we still work that way today.
I like that. And I think that also, I'm going to beg the question, but I think as we work with these deity and spirit guides, we develop a language, a common understanding, and shortcuts, and
yes,
that level of trust.
Another thing that made me notice the words that were coming in was that they weren't my internal words. The way you speak to yourself internally, the words are totally different when they come from your guides.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like a different language, but the same. You can understand each other, but you don't speak in the same words.
Interesting. Okay. So, Deb, any initial thoughts?
Well, my first initial thought is that many of us have come out of Christendom, where we were taught to pray to one figurehead that was over everyone and to use an intercessor with that prayer. Me personally, I always had a conversation ongoing with, I didn't know who they were, but I knew that I was having a conversation with someone. And so I never really understood or took to that Christian way of praying, because it had an ongoing conversation already going. And it wasn't necessarily even in words. It was feelings and
those come in too.
Following the energy kind of thing. It wasn't until a couple of years ago, maybe, that I actually started to put a concept, an idea to that it wasn't something that everyone did, that this was unique to my way of communicating with my guides.
Okay. Plucky Heroine said, were you referring to Hieronymus Bosch?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you,
That's
Plucky.
one of the many, but you can go back much farther because they took me back much farther to many artists that were long gone now, but that have all had that in similar counter with my road, my beaten path.
Yeah. I think for me, connecting with Deity and Spirit Guides, it's always it has been different than other friends that I was working with. They would do specific things to meet their spirit guides or their deities that they were working with. And sometimes these things would take a long time, and it did not take that long for me. It just happened. So I don't know if that's the way I'm constructed, but it sounds similar to what you were saying, Deb and Angela. That idea of is you always have this ongoing conversation. So, but so I but that's something that I have to keep in mind. It's okay to have well, I would encourage you to have your own experiences.
Absolutely.
You do not have to be able to share them with others for them to have value. They are valuable because you had them and they mean something to you.
Yes.
So yeah, it is a fascinating subject. So okay, I want to catch up on some of the chat. Betsy said, first thought now, be careful when you're working with Deity and Spirit Guides. Is that a fair assessment? Would all four of us agree with that? I would agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think it depends on the one you're working with, but this is my experience. There are some that I don't have to be careful. I can absolutely trust that no matter how crazy it sounds or feels, I know that I am safe and there's no harm going to come to me. But there are those that I have to be like, wait, hold on. I need to know which one of you is the worst of the bad guy so that I know what I'm jumping into. So yeah, absolutely. I would say.
And that goes back to some of the things that Betsy has said is a lot of times this is a volunteer position. And you need to set your boundaries and your expectations.
Yeah.
And personally, this is, for entertainment purposes only. Do not do anything based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance, really. If I am communicating with a spirit guide or a deity and they're not willing to answer my questions, that's a concern for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's a concern for me. Yeah. What do you have, Hershe? What are they sharing?
Well, it's not so much that it's what they're sharing. It's the more if there's any kind of personal gain, at all, whether your intention is an immediate personal gain, if there's any kind of personal gain, that could be why you get hesitation. If it's I'm hearing, trust the process type situation. But if the first thing they're stressing is it's all about personal gain, if you're any type of that anywhere down the mix or can be turned into that, usually you get ignored. They're not ignored, but it doesn't get an immediate response usually.
So intention is a big deal.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. For me,
all of us, I said intention is a big deal, and all four of us went,
Oh yeah, absolutely, most definitely.
Yeah. Vicky Howell is here. Hello, Vicky, and Lori is here, and Sherry has arrived. So it's great to see everybody. Thomas had said, "I'm curious about their names." But that isn't important to them as long as we call them in for want of understanding.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. That's a question. And do you have names? Do they share their names? Are others going to know them? Go ahead, Angela.
Mine just go by the name of Trip, and that's the whole lot of them. They go by that. I can tell the difference between which is which by the way their energy feels.
Oh, okay.
And some of mine do have names and have shared them with me or allowed me to choose a name for them.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Hershe? I mean,
So it depends on who I'm talking or addressing or communicating with. If I'm speaking to gods, goddesses, extremely high level people that I will never actually encounter, it's just a voice in my head, so to speak. They have me I call them uni because it's many. And I never know if it's going to be male or female. It's uni. Outside of that, any positive archangel, angel, elemental, if they were positive and they were for the right reasons, they absolutely gave me their name. They were proud to introduce themselves to me. They were proud for me to incorporate them into my journey, into my story. I have permission to reach out, call them out by name if I need them. It's the ones that I have found on my side that don't willingly give up their name. That's because they lose power when you have that power over them. So they don't usually do it, and they're more of the tricksters, the shadies, the shisties, the darker, the heaviers, the eviler. You take power over them when you get their name. So those I find that don't easily want to just say their name to me and be upright and honest, I usually pull back myself because that kind of breaks one of my boundaries. If you're about this, then I need you to be about this. Don't play shady with me. I don't do blurred lines anymore. So
well, and Medium Betsy Palmer said, my regulars insist to name me is to limit me. And I agree with that. I also want to piggyback on something that you said, Hershe, about you're being very specific. Is if that energy comes at you and it does not feel good.
Oh yeah, no, I know instantly when it's
you go, nope, back away.
No, but let's see, I'm a root worker. There's a huge difference.
Okay.
Huge difference in a light worker and a root worker. I do the dirty jobs. I'm crawling through the trenches. I'm used to that. 100%. That's my job all the time. I'm 24/7. As a root worker, I know that doesn't sound easy to people. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're a light worker and you want to work with me, then yes, my boundary is I need a name. I mean, whether I'm working with Sheva or she's one of her other spirits, because she's like 13 different gods and goddesses. Sheva isn't just one; she's many. So whether she comes to me as Dharma or one of the other ones, I enjoy that. I love her beautiful black skin when she's working with me with dark work and root work. So I absolutely, I take that as an honor to know their names and be able to work with them like that. But this is because I work differently.
And I just have to notice, and I hope everybody saw this, as Hershe was talking about working with this, you really radiated a beautiful, powerful energy as you were describing this. And
Thank
I'm
you.
like, ooh, girl, I got you. This is the feeling. I think this is a feeling that is what I would like to have more of. I want people to have that feeling. There's an excitement of connecting and honoring and working with and celebrating. And
absolutely, I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable in my spirituality. I have no shame in it. I'm not scared to pick up heavy dark tools and be judged by it, because that's somebody else's journey, not mine. My journey is clear and I am very highly protected. So you can try me if you want to, but you're not going to get very far.
Good luck. And back to what you were saying, Thomas, I do work with some deity, some of the gods and goddesses, and I practice the fourth pillar of the Magus, which is to keep silent. I don't tell people who I've worked with because that's for me and them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now I have some I can't speak their name, but I know their name, when we're working, doing our thing, but I wouldn't do that.
And like Betsy said, I genuinely appreciate that Hershe claims her methods and embraces her role. That is empowerment. I'm highlighting that one because that's so good. So
Thank you.
Coyote Budman said, how do you train to be receptive to communication?
This is going to be a difficult question for people to understand. I died twice. Like, I went from one form of talking to ghosts to everything done. Everything's different. Everything's different.
Right.
Everything, no matter what. So there was no training. There was no practicing. It was, here you go, right into from the pan into the fire. And I've been there ever since. So I don't know. I would be the worst person to ask, but I would say just keep going. Even though you feel odd, you feel out of place, you feel weird, that's probably exactly where you need to be.
Yeah. Deb, Angela?
I would say just listen for words that aren't yours coming into your mind. You'll hear them, you'll feel them, but you're going to be looking for words that aren't normally yours. That's not your personal verbiage that you use on a day-to-day basis.
I would say you train yourself to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You are being guided by your guides and your deities all the time, and they prefer sometimes for you not to know that they're doing it. You can train yourself to recognize when it's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then start an exchange of communication. They're already communicating with you. You just need to be able to recognize it.
It's that energetic adjustment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's for lack of, probably, not a lot of people, but you remember radios where you actually had to turn the knob. So the static, and sometimes it would work at night, but it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't work during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I think you have to say, I'm willing to be receptive for this.
Yes.
And then you have to back that up by practice, showing up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Setting that intention, and for me, it's just, everybody creates. Well, I don't know. I create rituals when I'm needing to feel that connection in a stronger
Mm-hmm.
way. There's certain things that I do that help me feel solid and more comfortable.
Yes.
And so, try it out, see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Hershe, any other thoughts you were thinking?
No, I'm being distracted. I've had a pacer for 4 days now, and they're back, and they're just kind of like pacing right through here. I don't know how. I can't really.
Okay.
I think they're in a parallel, and we're just kind of blending or meshing. But for the last 4 days, every once in a while, I just get this person pacing out of one of my peripherals, and I'm like, oh my God, they're back again. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it just gets very distracting sometimes.
Okay. And I think Medium Betsy Palmer says, light, dark, whatever, just strive toward mastery of your path.
Yes.
I agree with that. Yep.
That's where I'm headed.
Yep.
And you can develop a way to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I use I use my pendulum, I use cards. There are things I use to get messages or to clarify messages
Mm-hmm.
that are just between me and my guides or deity. And I've developed this method. So you just need to figure out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
What method of communication is how you can understand them. And you are able to say, please make the message in a way that I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
One
That's
of my
very
Sorry. One of my favorite tools is asking Metatron to ask him, could you slow that down, please? Could you slow that down? Especially when it's coming from the light side, because it's usually very hot, very bright, very warm, and all the good stuff. But it's like, wait. Slow down. So I love using the advantage of some of my guides as tools that come with them that I don't normally have. So.
Yeah. And that's something that I like that description, you know, the slow it down. I was doing readings last night with Astrological Tarot and Twillo Lifestyle. Sometimes when I'm reading, I get a lot of information, or I get the honor of seeing and hearing other people's spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the message, the spirit guides use other people to deliver a message.
They're saying that could be a sign of you and your root worker showing, like you're the you know, because it's the opposite of what it would normally be. You know, that's when the root work is kicking in, or shadow work, or you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to call it. You know, I mean, not shadow work. I'm sorry, dark walker, root worker. You know, the ones that really get in there and start down there and just don't stop until everything's released up past your crown and it can't affect you anymore. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you're not scared to get in the dirt, but that sounds like the opposite of normal. So that's usually the root worker trying to say, hey, try this, try this, try this. So
yeah, I actually, and I said this and I thought about it after the live, and y'all are probably going to laugh, but I actually said, and I think I said it out loud. It's like, y'all are talking at once. You either need to pick one person to talk to me or give me the ability to hear you all at once.
Welcome to my world.
I just said you have my permission to have me hear you talk all at once. So, like going, great. Stay tuned, everyone. There are a lot of great people here, and I want to say thank you to everyone who is here. I do want to get caught up on chat because there's the best chatters are bringing it, and I think this is I'm hoping that the three of you don't mind that I want to use some of what they're saying to help illustrate our points.
Oh, absolutely.
Andrea said, just coming through an amazing experience of connecting to spirit in the middle of medical crisis situation. Spirit worked me the whole time, even in the middle of coming to the edge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would have to say, from what I have heard, various people who have had near-death experiences, or someone like Hershe who's died twice, that really shifts a lot of things. So, I mean, you don't have to comment on that. I'm just, you know. Oh,
I mean, it's just that. It's literally just that. Like, I mean, that's it. Like, it's totally different, but it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong either way. You know, like everybody's connection is absolutely authentically theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, say that again, please, because I want people to hear that, and I'm going to embiggen you. Say that again.
See what you did? They said that everybody's organic, authentic connection is totally theirs. Nobody else's.
And that's, I think, is an important thing, because we're all individuals. And I think if we all show up and do our individual work, can you imagine what this place would be like? I mean,
I preach different things, and you know, like I'm learning different things. Like I'm learning a whole new concept to entitlement and enlightenment. Like it's not at all what I thought it was. It's actually not for the well, it's just not for who I thought it was for. So learning it in a different place, in a healthy place, in a good mind frame, and a good place in my heart, it's wonderful, because there's many more and much more of us than there is of what I thought was. So there's way more of us than there is of them. So one day everybody's going to get it, and I can't wait.
Yeah. Fogo Pogo said, you said one at a time, please. So they were there. And Betsy was right. Pick one representative to talk to me slowly and in a language I can understand. I have added that too. It's just like going, well, I need to translate this. So I want to go back to the chat. Thomas talks about how it's like talking to friends. That is absolutely one aspect that I agree with. And my definition of friends is someone who's going to tell me something that is hard for me to hear, but then hang around while I process that.
It's a good description.
Yeah. Deb, are you thinking something to share? Not to put you on the spot. To put you on the spot. You're muted.
I think that each of us needs to find our own way and set our own boundaries, that we are the one that's in the driver's seat. So you can, even though we're being guided, we still have free will. And we can say any degree of, I don't understand, make it in a way that I can see it clearly, that I understand the message, and that I can do, if I choose to, what you're guiding me to do. Otherwise, and honestly, they'd rather we didn't know that they were doing it, so we don't put up a fight. We don't say, why would I do that? I would never do that. They don't like the argument. So
Angela's holding her tiny hand up.
Yes, she is.
I thank everybody for being here. Thomas said, yeah, Thomas must wait 12 more years. That's great to know. They are helping me to survive another 12 years. There's more to that later, Thomas. I'll tell you later. I think Hershe has the other part of that message. Andrea said, I was shown and experienced spirit working with me and working me, and many doctors and nurses throughout the 2-week period. Medical staff would come and spirit communicated what to say. And I mean, I love, and Jane the Seeker has had experiences. She was talking about, she was seeing angels when she was in the hospital young, not my story to tell. However, she thought they were doctors and nurses taking care of her. And wow. I think I mean, really powerful. And so that's phenomenal. So, Coyote, I hope we gave you some suggestions for being more receptive communication. There are a lot of great ways to communicate. I know some people, they do that bibliomancy where they pick up a book, they're holding in their mind, what does my spirit guides want me to know? They open a book, that music, the musicography or music, whatever. I don't know what you'd call that. What's the musical version of bibliomancy? Musicomancy?
I don't know. Sounds right.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. If a song pops in your head for no reason, it's a message.
Yeah.
A song, a commercial, you keep seeing numbers, repeating numbers. What was that?
A scene in a movie?
Yep. So
they will use things to give you
yeah. And I would also think, and help me with this. I'm looking at chat, making sure I'm not missing anything. As I grow and evolve, and sometimes devolve, which probably happens more than I want to admit, they're more skilled at adjusting to where I am,
Mhm.
then I am skilled at adjusting to where they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would agree.
So
I would agree. And it's not so much of the removing it. They're having you unlearn it because you didn't learn it properly. So in order for you to gain the highest knowledge and enlightenment of that message, sometimes you have to completely unlearn something, and it is not easy. And until you stop fighting it and just do it, it's not going to happen. So there is a whole lot that you have got to let go of. I know sometimes I wish I had I guess the best words is self-will. Self-will doesn't exist for me. That exists in a human man's world. That doesn't exist for spirituality. They're constantly there 24/7. I'm not saying that Metatron and Azazel is always there, or Dharma or Shivra. They're not always there. Miles never leaves. Slim never leaves. Koku never leaves. They never leave my side. There is no such thing as free will on my side, where you have, and anybody else that I've talked to that has come back from the dead has said the same thing. Free will be damned. What is that? You only see 4. You don't see the other 57. There's 40 on that side. I mean, like, I wish I had that boundary setting, but it doesn't work for me like that. I can set the boundaries a gazillion times. It's not like that for me. So I am jealous and I am envy of all of that. So just know that, I'm sitting over here like, God damn, why? Like, I want that. So, like I said, everybody has their own cross and story. So, man, I'm fascinated hearing about it because it's like, I wish I had that. I want that. Does it really work though? Like, really, does it work?
And that's why when the 4 of us were together, it sort of came up, and it's like, this is going to be fascinating because all 4 of us have a different experience with it, and all 4 of them are valid.
Absolutely.
And Thomas says, I asked for them to tell me, like Hemingway writes, at a 3rd grade level for my better understanding. That I get that.
They refer to kindergarten a lot. Like, we'll teach you in kindergarten so you can give it and pay it forward. The right speed, the right language, the right, whatever. So that makes sense. Definitely.
Plucky Heroine asks, is that an indicator when the Claires pop in for a visit? Words you don't recognize.
Oh, yeah.
And Medium Betsy Palmer and I did a laugh and learn about the Claire senses.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something to look at, just as a quick introduction.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Hershe's mumbling to them.
They won't be quiet. I'm sorry. They're like,
no, Hershe. I'm teasing you. I want you to.
Oh, I know, but they're eating it up, and it's just like, oh my God, guys! Like, really?
Well, of course they're eating it up. I mean, I just want to know: do they have popcorn and they're watching how this is going? Ooh, what's he going to say next?
More like a debate team is going on. Like, I have 2 over here that are like kind of like on the pro side of the conversation, and then I have 2 over here that are kind of debating against, like, these 2 are debating against each other about, we'll talk about this. No, they should talk about this and then that. No, they should talk. And it's just like, are you serious, guys? Like, serious? Like, it's not that serious.
Pia's Eclectic Life is here. Welcome to the party. I am glad you're here, being with the best chatters. And Medium Betsy Palmer said, free will to me is about the human choices we make in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Human me can block out spirit communications, but will also have to accept the consequences of that decision.
Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, Pierrette is here. Hello. Good to see you.
And every choice is a learning experience. So something we may consider a poor choice in 3D Our guides love that. It's an opportunity for us to really get a lesson.
Unfortunately.
I constantly learn something new every single day. And I mean that about the present, about the surroundings, or about myself. Every single day. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Well, and I think that's I think that's an important thing. If we're growing and learning, that's good for me. I like that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I like that. Again, I have 19 things marked.
I see that.
Let me do this. Just sort of go through that. Caro asked backwards, I believe is Jeff, correct?
Mhm.
Says, I have not conquered all my demons, so I have to do that first.
Mhm.
I
One at
kind
a
of
time.
disagree. And
One at a time.
entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Why don't you take one of your demons out for a cup of coffee and get to know them?
There you go. There you go. You don't have to deal with them. You just have to give them a place in your life. Give them ownership. They're there. They're not going anywhere.
And
you use them instead of letting them use you.
And what you call demon is maybe not somebody else's demon.
Absolutely.
That's true.
And I'm just like, it's like I get scared of things that I do not understand.
Mm-hmm.
And a way for me to get to learn and expand is to get curious and to ask questions and to listen to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I said we would be shit-faced for days and not show up for work. Yeah, don't do that.
It happens. Life is just.
Don't do that. No one on YouTube I see is doing what she is and how she is. You're right.
That's
And
true.
that, everybody, is Hershe the Shadow Reader. Link is below. Do that.
I am not the only person that does root work, guys. I'm not the only person. I'm not.
Just say
I
thank you.
guarantee you there's a whole bunch of us out here that are very comfortable with who we are.
Yes.
So, like Hershe says, do all the YouTubey things and go over and like and subscribe and share.
Mhm.
There you
That's
go.
going to say it better myself.
There you go. Okay. Trying to y'all are great. I mean, thank you. Okay. And Jonathan Daly said, I find that the divine comes to me and I don't seek them out.
Well, we like that one. Yeah, we like that one. No control whatsoever. Excuse me, where'd you come from? That's why I jump a lot, because they're always coming at me.
Yes. And Thomas Terrier Way said, how do you become more receptive? Just like you get to Carnegie Hall. Practice, practice, practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Medium Betsy Palmer said, I agree. In stillness, with all outside distractions eliminated.
Yes.
Certainly help with that. Yeah. Yes. Got that. Yes, like fairies, you have to slow them down before. If you can slow fairies down, I'm impressed.
I am.
Me too.
Well, it's not that you can't, but you can learn to work with them. You know what I mean? You can learn to work with them. You can learn to find a way where it's not necessarily slowed down, but in your realm or the reality that you are with them at, you can speed yourself up. You can lift your vibration to their level. So maybe if they won't come down to you because of it being you being a 3 or 4D dimension and they're a 40 or a 50 realm dimension creature, hobbit, or whatever, they're expecting you to come to them. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to lower themselves. They want you to come see and experience what they are. So
yeah, I mean, if let's, the energy exchange, I mean, you have to adjust the energy, and both parties need to make that adjustment to try to get a little exchange.
I'm just saying they don't want to come all the way down, is all I was saying. It's like you got to find that common ground, that middle.
Yeah. That has to be exhausting. Nalani said, "Spirit speaks to me through many people." I can absolutely see that. And also, they said, so our guides may be telling us different things. Yeah.
Contradictory, even like really, truth be damned. That's how you feel? Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thomas reminds us that he's fighting the process bigly. Ooh, I should write that down. I should make that a word, bigly.
It's the truth. It's true.
Nalani said, if I exercise my demons, my angels might go too. Tom Waits, I think, wrote that.
They won't go, they will grow.
Ooh, they won't go, they will grow. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Getting caught up in chat. Right, pick one. Okay, wait a minute. I'm back to where I was. Teresa Haldarian is here. Hello. Or hey, Darian. Good to see you. And Fogo Pogo said, you need to remember too, it's a lifetime of learning. I've been at it only 4 months and need to constantly remind myself of that. You don't instantly know how to drive a car.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. And the other thing is just because I mean, you may do something that is natural to you and you've always done it that way and it's very easy. It could actually be really hard for other people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's an important thing. As the 4 of us are here, there's 4 different ways to connect.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So Pia's Eclectic Life said, I sent a note to Deb the other day about reaching out to ancestors, but being scared I would potentially connect with something evil. Deb suggested a protective bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Was that you, Deb?
Yes, that was me. And I did
Good
have
advice.
that conversation with Pia.
And well, and there are, okay, so this is a really good question. Let's talk about that. Protection.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A feeling of safety and security.
Yes.
I think all of those things, they mean different things to each of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm journeying, I will create something that tells me that I'm in a journey. Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Inception?
No, but I know about it. Yeah.
Okay.
It moves, right?
Well, is it? No, Inception. There's this idea is that you collect something, you create something so that you know that you are in this dream. And it keeps you reality. So there's small hints and signals and sigils and totems and other things that you can do to help you as you grow and expand. So I'm going to sip for a second and let's talk about that sense of safety and security. For lack of a better word. So.
Okay, you two go. Or no, you two go.
Okay, one of the first things I do is smudge. When I'm going to sit down and do a session, I smudge.
Okay.
And I will put a protective bubble around my space.
Mm-hmm.
And then something reflective on the outside of the bubble. Now, if I'm, for instance, at home, I might use mirrors facing outward around my bubble to reflect anything that I don't want coming in the bubble back toward itself. If I'm astral traveling, I'm not taking a bunch of mirrors with me. So I use glitter. I use glitter. And if you ever see me astral, do I use glitter?
Mm-hmm.
I love
She's
that.
seen me traveling. And
She comes to my house a lot.
So what you do is going to be unique to you, what makes you feel safe.
Mhm.
And you may adjust whatever it is depending on what kind of protection you need.
Hershe wants me to go next. I can tell. Okay, this is probably controversial and for entertainment purposes only. I will create some boundaries and some sacred space.
Mhm.
I do that a lot. If I'm speaking with spirit guides or deity, I don't do that per se. I'm just used to it,
Mhm.
and I don't worry about it.
Yeah, that I don't worry about
I
either.
don't either.
Yeah. So it's sort of like it's the okay. I have to be careful how I say this. Try it. We'll see how that works out for you.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
she just got more information in another download. They're whispering to her right now. I love it.
I have one other thing I want to add to. I have specific protector and guardian guides
Mhm.
that are around me all the time. So even if I don't put up some sort of protection, then I am still in a safe place because I have these entities with me all the time.
Yes. And Hypnicity says you sparkle. And Hershe, I want to hear from you. But I want to actually say, Betsy said, and create a clearing prayer that invites in only those you wish to communicate with,
Mhm.
and banishes those who you do not wish to communicate with.
Yes.
It's like, who are you inviting to your birthday party?
Exactly.
I want this person. I don't want that person. And I think those rituals are so very, very important.
They are.
And so, all right, Hershe, what do you got?
So if I'm working with a person, if I'm working with a human, I'm absolutely going to lay down more protection than you can shake a stick at. And it's not for me; it's for them. I don't need it. I'm not saying that I don't need it. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not. It's gonna sound really crazy. As somebody said, Constantine, I pop my collar and I go to work. I mean, I do not have to worry about that. I have to protect myself more working with people and working in sun or light situations. I have to protect myself then, and I mean heavily protect myself. But other than that, I don't have to do all that. I am protected. Everything I do, no matter what I'm guided to or where I'm guided, I am absolutely beyond the Rainbow Bridge protected from, I mean, pretty much anything. Like I mean, you could throw it at me. I guarantee you it's going to bounce off of me. I'm not even going to know it got there.
Yeah. And Hypnicity said, nothing to fear but fear itself. A lot of times, yes. Well, and it goes back to also that idea is you don't run a marathon by buying a pair of shoes and putting them on and start to run the marathon.
Absolutely.
You know, you show up and you learn to tie the shoes first.
Yes.
And I am a big fan of that spiritual hygiene, that psychic hygiene. What do I do just to help keep me feeling good? It's like, let's face it, everybody should drink more water because it's going to make your body feel better. It's going to make your body operate better. You should eat fruits and vegetables, by the way, for entertainment purposes only, you know, maybe not drink 3 pots of coffee. Maybe.
Well,
I mean, maybe, but you get what I'm saying. There are certain things that we regularly do, and we do them in such a way that it's like it feels weird when I don't do them. And it goes back to the conversation we had last week with Chris from Barely Balanced Tarot. That idea of offerings. When we
Yeah.
have an offering and we do it consistently, every single time we do it, we're bringing that energy from all of the times we've done it before to that moment. And in some cases, we're bringing that energy from our ancestors who are doing that as well. And who knows, maybe our spirit guides and deity do the same type of thing when they're working with us. Can you imagine having to slough off all of that 3D stuff? So
No, I can't.
I fear rejection, so keep quiet about my beliefs. Truth be told, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here because what you're saying makes a lot of sense. You're adding value. So,
Force thoughts are the worst.
Yeah. Fogo Pogo said, I've been working on channeling and have been struggling with clairaudience, but have had better success with writing art. So I'm flowing with that for now. Good.
And crafty hands.
And Deb, that's sort of what you and Media Betsy Palmer were talking about.
Yes.
In your stuff.
To do what comes naturally, that it will, and practice.
Yeah. And okay, so Rossi has been in some chats and has said, Gerald, this is what I spoke of in Jane's live. This is all new and very overwhelming. So I want to read some of the Rossi stuff, and then I'd like to end on that with that feeling of overwhelmness as we're thinking about connecting with deity and spirit guides. How about some suggestions or words of advice? So, and Meeting Betsy Palmer said, you can tell them you feel overwhelmed to back off and use a gentler approach so you can get comfortable with them. Let's face it, animals do the same thing. You know, cats, if you go into a house with cats and you like cats and you try to chase after them, they're going to ignore you. But if you don't like cats, they're going to sit on your lap. And Rossi also said, Betsy, I cannot understand with my guides. An ancestor reached out to talk with me using priestess knowledge. I know very little. Okay. But knowing that you know very little is a lot of knowledge.
Yes, it is. And it's a place to start.
That's true.
A well-defined place to start.
Yes, it is. And I would say, Rossi, you're getting curiouser and curiouser. That's a beautiful state to be in.
Yes.
That's, you know, children learn a lot when they're curious.
Yes.
So, okay. Fogo Pogo said, my biggest struggle is the letting go of control, the stepping back and letting ego go, letting them speak without overthinking it all. I have that too. I see you is what I could say. I get what you're saying. And Nalani said, I'm working on it. Good. And I'm glad you're here, because when I think, again, I don't know about you all, but the best chatters are adding to this. They're helping to lead this conversation.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe there'll need to be another conversation. I don't know. So, Plucky Heroine said, I'm noticing that my connection with deity is connected to nature. Birds have been showing up and saying hello. On Saturday, about 6 butterflies showed up at once. It felt beautiful. Yeah.
So butterflies and birds, or if you have a connection to stones, I would say look into root work. And that could be why you're missing a connection. You might be literally working on the wrong side of the board. People, when they can't make that connection, no matter how hard they try, people forget that there are two sides. And a root worker is very different than a light worker, but you have to work together. You run parallel. We work together. I just stay in my lane. You stay in your lane. I don't work with Reiki. 9 times out of 10, you use stones to intensify yours, but you don't usually run to stones because they come from where? A dark, cold place. They were created under heavy pressure. Things that a lot of light usually can't handle. There's nothing wrong with it. That doesn't make it wrong, broken, or unfixable. It just means that you need to learn to get comfortable to try the other side. If you're not making a true connection on the side you're reaching for, maybe you're reaching on the wrong side.
And it's called exploration, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
Open-mindedness.
Yes.
Getting rid of forced thoughts and trying.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Very much so.
Niños is here. Hi, Niños and Jackie Smith.
Hello, hello.
Or Niños, sorry.
Niños is a friend of ours.
Call me. I want all the stories, Niños. I want all the stories. I can keep Maruta said, I recently got the Lakshmi Oracle, which isn't actually about Lakshmi, but it contains the Hindu gods. And I think this is one of those things that if there's so many different decks that are available to help you.
Absolutely.
To give you a visual, to give you, and so know what works for you. If reading a story about it works, looking at a card works, know your limits, purchase responsibly.
Absolutely. Hindu, Jainism, Buddhism, absolutely, absolutely. Please keep me informed, Maruta. I want to know how you feel because I know that is one powerful tool. I've worked with it. I don't own it, but I've worked with it, and oh my God, it's powerful.
Nice. Pia's Eclectic Life said, I guess I've watched so many videos about ghost hunters that encounter evil spirits. That's what has scared me. Maybe stop watching them?
I would say, strictly my opinion, but if you are drawn to it, you're drawn to it for a reason. And what you need to do is you need to unlearn everything you think you know and go into it open-mindedly, knowing that you are, if you're drawn to it and it is a root worker calling, you are protected above and beyond levels that you can even begin to comprehend on. So you are built for that. So absolutely find a way to see if that's your calling. If you are being drawn to that 9 times out of 10, then that is the road you need to go down. That is your path.
And I would be curious, what is it about that intrigues you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Find out what it's about. And Jackie Smith is also an overthinker. Welcome to the club. And Pia's Eclectic Life has seen a multitude of cardinals this year, and typically see none. Cardinals very important. So
very important.
How disappointing, Niñas.
I'll never tell either. I can relate. Hey,
don't tell secrets either, but I like them. Vishnu has been stalking me.
Ooh, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that.
All right. So before I went on my little, exploration of all of the best chatters, adding comments, what are some suggestions that you have? And I'm going to start with Angela, then I'm going to Deb, and then Hershe.
Just take your time. Don't think you're going to accomplish all of it tomorrow. It's not going to work that fast. It takes the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Find what's comfortable for yourself. Do you hear music? Do you hear lyrics and songs? Do you see strange behavior in animal life? Figure out what it is that's speaking to you and then build on that. And in the meantime, meditate. Find a ritual for yourself that's going to put you in the mindset to hear the messages because you're already getting them.
Okay. Hershe.
All I can say is, you know what, you can't say you don't like it or you don't know if you don't try. That goes from food concepts to spirituality. So take it for what it is. If you don't try it, you'll never know. So you're only cutting yourself short.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest experiences I had as a member of a coven is as we were working on finding our patroness, and the high priestess, took us on a journey. And part of that journey is to see her and to pay attention to what she was wearing and what was around her, and then to ask her name. Now, none of us actually got their names, but then what we had an opportunity to do was to go explore,
Yes.
to go find out. The internet is full of crap and useless information. The internet is also useful for finding great little gems and things that are factual, that are exactly what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
take a nap, set intention of, I'm going to meet a spirit guide, one of my spirit guides that is willing to work with me.
Absolutely.
And then when you wake up, make note of that and then do some exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as we finish up, Betsy has said, LOL, you mean the people that carry parasites all the time running around and screaming are bigger parasites?
Usually.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes. And Jonathan said, oops, I lost you guys for a while and missed most of chat, but I'm lurking whilst at the gym. Definitely going to be watching this back. Thank you. And leave a comment. Yes. Patience, grasshopper.
Yes.
Jump, Judy, jump.
Jackie Smith reminds us repeating numbers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Notice those things. Notice the things that catch your attention. The repeating numbers, the songs that repeat themselves, the lines in the book, words. These are all things that are there. Pia's Eclectic Life said, I believe I'm drawn in to those videos to try to find out what they're experiencing, hoping they can usher the lost to the other side, maybe. Okay.
I can see why you would think that way.
Yeah. Vicky said, I have a lot of experiences with animals, and there were 2 trees cut down behind us, and I cried all day. I believe it's the elementals and their communication. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And yeah, you're not alone in that. You're not alone in that. Yeah, Vicky also sees a lot of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, beautiful people, for being here. You amazing people, and all of your spirit guides and deity who are, helping to communicate. And one of my goals is that if one person got a suggestion to help them connect, this was an insanely successful video.
Yes.
And all of us talked about that before. So thank you. If this helped you in some way, leave a nice little comment. Let us know. And Tom, Early Ritual is here, so it's time for us to leave.
My day's ruined now.
And thank you, Betsy. And Betsy is on the channel, my channel, on Tuesday for Tarot the Stashway Color Part 3. So, we'll have to talk about this. Is there more information to cover? So, thank you, everyone. And Tom's getting his love. Thank you. It only takes one. Yes, it does. And by the way, I also think, and I don't actually need to know if you did get anything out of this. It's great to hear. It tells me that it was worth our time.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, it was worth my time because I'm spending this with 3 amazing, powerful women. And Nina's, please call me. Let's talk. Give me some
Miles says, always remember, reach one, teach one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And there's also some, you've heard that, teach a man, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Well, if that man is hungry, give him a fish. And then
Right.
teach him how to fish so that he can actually remember that.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, because, you know, all things in good time.
Yes.
This is true.
There's always more. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Do appreciate it. And Hershe, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Monday is meta messages on a Monday. It's just a pre-recorded that I send out from uni and meta. But other than that, I'm pretty much free until next Wednesday.
Okay. Deb, Angela?
Go ahead.
I have I don't have anything on my channel coming up yet that I don't have anything scheduled until the 29th when Betsy will be joining me. But I also am going to be a guest with Ron Unconditional Love on Saturday.
Nice.
On his regular show at his regular time.
Very nice.
And right now, I have no clue what I've got going on. I've had 2 days that were absolutely upside down. So,
And Angela is doing readings now. So Elements
yes,
of Heart Nancy at Gmail.
reading.
So,
Yay.
and I am with Heather, Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts on Sunday evening. I have 3 lovely things on Monday. I have readings with Jane, The Secret Tarot, and Nancy Acrone's Intuition. I'm doing a live at 2:00 on Monday. Topic to be determined. And then I'm hosting the Mystic 4 on Monday. And then Tarot the Stashaway, Color Part 3.
Yes.
Tuesday. And then I'm doing readings with Marina, Heart Centered Tarot, on Tuesday evening. So
Wow.
it's fun. So doesn't do him any good if he starves before he catches one. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Yeah, this was a great live. And Plucky Heroine said, "I only speak for myself. I wouldn't be here without the wonderful information and interaction." Thank you. And I honestly think the best chatters show up. I mean, I am, you know, if I'm suddenly not engaging in chat, you know, I've been taken over by aliens, or I have completely changed my personality, because this is what I like. So yeah. Oh, that made me laugh. So I love it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Be well and be nice to yourself. You know, just be awesome, will you? Please. We need more awesome people. We need more awesomeness. So, all right. Take care. Bye.